Hi everyone, this is Trevor Jones from AstroBackyard, and in this video I'm going to try out Skylum Luminar AI on my astrophotography. Skylum sent me a copy of their new Luminar AI image editing software and asked if I would try it out on some of my astrophotography images. So thank you to Skylum for sponsoring this video and acknowledging the niche hobby of astrophotography and our unique needs in an image editing software. I'm pretty comfortable with my image processing routine these days, from start to finish, from the image stacking all the way to the final tweaks and edits in the image editing software. So at first, I didn't see why a software like Luminar AI would apply to deep sky astrophotographers that are very comfortable and very specific about the actions they take on their image. I mean, something that uses AI to make decisions for you at first doesn't really sound like a good idea. But I think after you see a few examples of the way I am using Luminar AI for astrophotography, you'll see how it could be a very powerful tool for not only beginners, but intermediate to expert level image editors in the world of astrophotography. You probably won't use it as your start to finish image editor, but it is a great way to add some creative finishing touches on your images, specifically if you shoot landscape, nightscape astrophotography. There's a lot of things that won't apply to us astrophotographers in the portrait side of things and the face touching and stuff like that. But if you're an overall photographer and you're in different disciplines of the hobby, you may find several uses for this software. But in this video, we'll focus on astrophotography. And if you think that these tools and actions you can do in this software are useful, I'll let you decide that. Okay, here we are in Luminar AI, and I've got my folder here, my little catalog of, these will be the images that I'm gonna go through. And now these are images that are already pre-processed for the most part in the other software tools that I use. They're stacked and processed. Although I do have one image in here that is basically just the stacked file out of Deep Sky Stacker. So totally unprocessed. So I wanted to show you what's possible there. If you want to take an image from the beginning to end using Luminar AI, that is possible. And that's probably what impressed me the most about this software, is what I was able to do with that. So when you're looking at the interface here, it's very simple. The whole idea behind Luminar AI is that it's supposed to be very beginner friendly. It's supposed to be fast, not complex, and you're able to do things quickly and experiment without getting lost and frustrated, which is why it's such a great tool for beginners, where the experts would be like, well, I want full control. You gotta kind of have to roll with it with Luminar AI. And when you do that, if you're a creative person, you'll really start to appreciate it. So with this image open here, if you go into the top panel here where we see templates, already the AI is at work, because it's going to give us templates based on the type of image that the AI is reading that this image is. So for this photo, it's suggesting to do the natural skies template, the artistic, and the easy landscape. So those will appear differently if I had a different type of image on the screen. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and actually try some of these templates that it's suggesting. So in the natural skies collection, you can see the different presets here. So if we go to after hours, and this is something you'll have to get used to. It's going to add this slider here down at the bottom and apply it right to 100% right off the bat. That's, different than I'm used to. So it's pretty aggressive there in quite a colorful looking image, but you probably want to dial that back, right? So let's look at it at around, this is probably what, 15%? Again, no actual values, just a slider to go with here. If that's the look you're going for, something more dramatic, maybe this would be a great, cover photo or something for Instagram where you really want it to be punchy, something that gets noticed right off the bat. You could use a filter like this. The one I really liked, what was it? Morning Dew. I thought this one was cool because it gave it kind of a really cold look, which is great for this photo because it was cold. This image was shot in December, and you can really see the glow from the fog and those high clouds. It really adds to that glow. It made me think of right away, people spend good money on filters that do this kind of stuff for you out of the camera. So applying filters like this is pretty cool. And so even though you could do something like this in another image editing software, not one click away and not so experimental and creative the way it is in Luminar AI. So I thought that was pretty awesome. These presets were designed by professional photographers. They spent a lot of time building these out and, making effects that people would want for the specific image that you have on screen that of course that AI is reading. So pretty powerful stuff going on. So if we hop from the templates over to the edit panel, this is where you get very specific about the actions that take place on your image. So there's a little brush here for local masking that you can use in case you wanted to make masks. And then there's also the history little clock here. So we can go right back to the original image, right up to the top to the last adjustment we made. And if you've watched my tutorial videos before, you'll know I'm a big history guy. I hop around constantly to go back and see if I made an improvement or not. So we'll stick to the latest adjustment we made and go back into the tools. And this is the specific sliders here. So maybe one of the most useful features of this AI is the composition AI, that with one click, it's going to do the suggested composition for your photo. It's going to use the rule of thirds. And let's see, we'll click that composition AI and it's doing the 4:3 ratio. So look how it's lined that up, the tree line, it's cropped it in, and it's actually reading some of those brighter stars, and it's saying this is a nice suggested composition. So it's worth a look to see what it suggests for composition, especially if you're going to share the photo in a size like this on something like Instagram or Facebook. We can always go back to before we did it, of course, so it's reset. But this is where you find some of the tools like accent and sky enhancer. So if we do the accent slider, it's doing some stuff like bringing up those dark areas, which is actually kind of nice. If you go into the structure, I've found that to be a really good one. And if you see how some of these items in the tools have the dots beside them, it's because they were affected in that original template we set. So of course you can go back and just use this edit tab rather than those templates and just start fresh from the beginning and make all the adjustments. But I think you should experiment with those templates. There's some really creative stuff that you probably won't find particularly useful for astrophotography, like the augmented sky and the sky selection. So those are for images that don't have a sky or have a boring sky where you want to actually add some clouds in. Not my taste in photography to add things that aren't there. But in certain situations, I could see how I would do that in, say, a thumbnail for one of my YouTube videos where it's just me standing with the scope in a blue sky. I might add some clouds in there just to make it a more dramatic looking thumbnail. So you can see in certain situations, it's probably okay, but not for astrophotography. I mean, we're photographing the sky. We don't want to change it. Just looking a little deeper into the atmosphere fog sliders here. So I found one that worked actually pretty well on this image. So if you actually go to layered fog and I increase that, it's kind of that ground fog that actually looks a little more realistic. You know, you get that moisture that's kind of hovering just around the trees. That actually worked pretty well on this photo, I found. Obviously adjust that to taste, but somewhere around here we can turn that off and on. I think that actually works in this situation. You can imagine a landscape, nightscape scene with mountains where you could actually add in some fog and some mist and actually improve the photo. So I thought that was pretty cool. So before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, why don't we look at some other types of astrophotography images and what it can do there. So let's hop over to a deep sky image. And this is the Orion Nebula and the Running Man Nebula captured from home. And it's already looking pretty good, but let's see if we can improve it here with some of these simple actions we can take on Luminar AI. So we'll use the accent slider. That's looking pretty cool. Wow, I do like that one. Like, picture this scenario where you're ready to share this image on Instagram. You just want to give it that one final tweak for when people are scrolling by where it just really stands out above all the other Orion Nebula images out there. Something like applying this accent AI at 38%, to me, that's a clear winner. It's like the before and after of this action. I like that. I don't think it's taken anything away from the image at all by applying that accent. Let's go back to the sliders here and we'll go to structure. This is one you got to be really careful with. So let's see. Now let's look at the before and after that one, the structure amount. So I'm going to go back to the accent and then structure. Yep, I'd say that made it a little bit better. Of course, you've got the denoise tools in here too, the color denoise and luminosity. So man, there's so many options for removing noise from your images these days. The built-in tools in some of the software you use, and then the third-party tools as well. So this software can be used as a plugin to Photoshop as well, a third-party plugin, and you just go to the filter category and then just pick Luminar AI, and then you can start adjusting your image there and then apply the effects and go right back into Photoshop. So that's probably the way a lot of you will use this tool, but you can use it as a standalone software as well. So I attempted to take an image from start to finish, from the stacked calibrated master file all the way to a finished image completely within Luminar AI. It is the Fishhead Nebula, and I made a little montage for you to see what happened. It was a little bit different than I'm used to. You'll see what I mean. Here's about as far as I could take my image of the Fishhead Nebula, processing it entirely in Luminar AI, so it's definitely not perfect. Probably the most notable thing is that the curves dialog box is pretty rudimentary, and if you're used to making very specific, intricate curve adjustments as I am, this curves box just isn't going to cut it to be your, one and only image editor for astrophotography. If you're new to the hobby and, software like PixInsight or Photoshop kind of scare you, you might have fun to play around in here, but I really think through this experience, I've convinced myself that this software is more of just a creative way to add flair in terms of astrophotography in the deep sky realm, as opposed to a be-all end-all image editor. I'm really interested to know what you guys think of using Luminar AI for astrophotography. Personally, I feel like it shouldn't be thought of as a standalone start to finish image editor specifically for deep sky astrophotography. Heck, I don't even know if it should be used start to finish from out of the camera for nightscape, landscape photography. We're used to all those stacking softwares, the sequators and the deep sky stackers anyway. So I really think astrophotography is one of those things where it's a multi-software application approach where you're kind of used to that. And where Luminar AI fits, in my mind at least, is at the very end stage where you want to get really creative, those final tweaks you make right before you share it on Instagram or Facebook or wherever you post your images, Flickr, all that. So I just don't see it as a standalone software that you can just use from start to finish. But as for adding creative tweaks, it could be very useful. And if you're used to having all these different tools at your disposal to do different things when it makes sense, I think this software does make a lot of sense. It is affordable, you can buy it on its own, and I think it's a useful tool. And I'm gonna start applying it to my astro photos where it makes sense. I'm thinking specifically on Instagram, less on the deep sky images, more on my nightscape photography, which I hope to get real big on into 2021. But if you're a landscape photographer and you take your daytime photos, or a portrait photographer, which is outside of what I do on this channel, I feel like you'll get the full use out of Luminar AI. But hopefully it was interesting to you to see what its uses and benefits and limitations are in the world of astrophotography. Thanks again to Skylum for reaching out and sponsoring this video. I think it's a really cool software. It's not perfect, but there are some really powerful, neat things you can do to your astro photos with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone, and until next time, clear skies.